Hello friends, hope you are doing well. Today we will cover section 1013A in this session, and this covers the house rent allowance. House rent allowance is one of the important sections for every salaried person to understand because it would save a large portion of the taxes. So what is HRA, house rent allowance? House rent allowance is a benefit which is given by the employer to the employee for his house rent expenses. So now let us understand how the exemption of the HRA is calculated. We have a wrong belief that whatever rent we are paying, that would be exempted from uh, taxes, but it is not so. The amount is calculated as per least of the following, as you can see in my screen. So what are the three things in which the calculation is going to pertain? Number one is the actual HRA which you are receiving from the employer. So it is very important for us to have the HRA portion in the salary slip. Number two is 40% of salary in case the person is staying in a non-metro city, and 50% if the house is situated or if the person or the employee is staying in Mumbai, Calcutta, Delhi or Madras, that is Chennai. And the third criteria is that rent paid, whatever rent you're paying minus 10% of salary. So in the point B and C, you are seeing that salary word is there, but what is the definition of salary? Salary would include the basic salary and the dearness allowance, if that is a part of the retirement benefit, and in case you're receiving some commission on the basis of turnover, then that would be included in the salary calculation. So three criteria, the list of A, B and C would be the amount of exemption. Now we will understand this calculation on the basis of some examples. There are a lot of tax calculators which are available. You can get them from the income tax e-filing website, or maybe there are other also in Google which you can just put the figures over there and calculate. But it is very important for us also to understand how this calculation takes place. So what are the criterias if you want to avail this exemption? First of all, if you have chosen the new regime, then you cannot claim this exemption. And the second thing is that only if you're paying rent, then only you can claim this exemption. Otherwise, you cannot claim this exemption. As you can see on the screen that we have the payslip for an employee, Shraddha Shukla. We have the basics. She has the basic salary, and then the HRA, conveyance, special allowance, medical and LTA, and from that the provident fund and the professional taxes deducted. So how do we calculate the HRA exemption? It will be the least of the following three: actual HRA received, 50% of salary, and rent paid minus 10% of salary. So the calculation over here, so how is salary calculated? 30,000 basic salary multiplied by 12, that is coming to yearly 3,60,000, and then 10% of basic salary is 36,000, and rent paid is 10,000 per month. So over here you see that 13 actual HRA received is 13,000 multiplied by 12 months, that is 1,56,000, and then 50% of salary, assuming that this is a metro city where she is staying. So 50% would come to 3,60,000 yearly salary multiplied by 50%, which is coming to 1,80,000, and then the rent paid is 10,000 multiplied by 12 months, that is 1,20,000 minus 36,000, which is 10% of basic salary, it's 84,000. So considering the least of the three, it's 84,000. 84,000 would be the exemption under section 1013A. So there are certain criteria which you need to fulfill in order to claim this exemption. First of all, there should be a rent agreement, and then you should have proper rent receipt. Every month the payment should be made to the landlord. If the landlord, if the amount of the total rent during a year is less than 1 lakh, then the PAN card is not required. But if you are paying more than 1 lakh per year to the landlord, then you need to take the PAN details of the landlord. So now the question comes that can you pay rent to your parents? Yes, of course you can pay rent to your parents, and that is absolutely allowable. And you can definitely pay rent to your parents. It should not be an issue at all. But then definitely you need to have a proper rent agreement, and the rent receipts and amount should be transferred to the parents' bank account, preferably. So can you claim? There are other questions also which people have in mind. For example, some people have taken home loan and in home, and they even have a loan against that property, and but they are living in a rented house. So can they avail this exemption? Yes, they can avail this exemption. You can live in the same city where you have taken a house on loan. So both loan and the rent payment can be this rent exemption can be taken simultaneously, but only criteria which needs to be fulfilled is that you need to pay rent and you should be staying in the rented property. One more question which comes to our mind, whether you can claim this exemption if you are sharing your house with your friends. Yes, of course you can claim the exemption, but then this exemption has to be on a proportionate basis. For example, if you're paying 20,000 rent per month and 50% of that you are sharing with your friend, then you can only claim 10,000 and not 20,000. So you need to do the calculation as shown in this slide, and then you can definitely claim it. So one more question which crops us is that if you have your own house in a different city and you are staying in another city and paying rent, then of course you can claim this exemption. In case the employer is not giving HRA, then there is one more section which is 80GG. The person can claim exemption under this section. And in case of people having their own business who are staying in a rented property, they can claim it under section 80GG and not section 1013A. So this was all from my end. If you have any queries, please drop me a comment and I will surely answer. And in case the provision is clear to you, and if you like my video, please do like and subscribe. This will definitely motivate me to make such further videos. Thank you so much.